Good afternoon to you all. Thank you very much for the invitation, Magnifico Reitor. It's a pleasure to be here with you and share a little bit what we have been doing at NOVA Information Management School in the context of one of the Sustainable Development Goals. NOVA Information Management School is the school of the information management and data science, and so we try to apply analytical approaches to support several societal goals, namely the SDGs. In this context, it is relevant for us to first look at the bright side and say that in cities today, we are able to generate the highest wealth in the world, and at the same time, we have 50% of the global population living in these spaces, although they represent just 2% of the Earth's surface. And this, it's also a downside. We know that the population in cities is going to grow to 70%, and this leads to a situation where we produce too much waste in cities, we use too much energy in cities, we have the highest proportion of greenhouse gas emissions in cities. And so cities are a space of wealth, but also a space of severe challenges that we must address. And so when we look at the Sustainable Development Goals, we see that number 11 is a goal related with sustainable cities and communities, with 5 targets. First of all, sustainability, of course, but also inclusion, resilience, and security. And today, resilience is probably one of the most relevant that we can think about, but inclusion is also a concern in this idea of the 11th goal. And this 11th goal, in our approach, can be, in fact, achieved, or we can give a contribution to that goal, taking advantage of what we call today smart, sustainable cities. How can we use technology? How can we use our growing capability of collecting data to change the paradigm of cities planning and management, looking on how to provide quality of life to the citizens that live, visit, or work in these spaces. And so this is all about digital transformation, and furthermore is about taking advantage of data to do the process. And I bet that all of you already seen this. It was the cover of Economist last year, that data is the 21st century oil. There is a good relation because, like oil, data is a raw material. We have to refine it so that we can use it to produce value for society. But there is a big difference between oil and data, which is data, in fact, is a renewable resource. And we can use data over and over and over again, and it's still there for us to reuse it. And so this opportunity that we have today of using data is our focus. And 4 years ago, we created at NOVA Information Management School a lab dedicated to this, NOVA Cidade Urban Analytics Lab. What we try to do is to look at the opportunity that we have today with the growing capability of collecting data, always taking in consideration privacy, the ethical use of data, but in fact we can give support to new ways of planning and managing the cities, and in the end we can think about how can public policy making change the way it is conceived and also monitored, taking advantage of this approach. This was a journey. We started by making links and partnerships with municipalities. Then we have 308 municipalities in Portugal. So we decided to try to speed up the process. And we started building partnerships with intermunicipal communities, but then still there are many. And now we have a solid partnership with the National Association of Portuguese Municipalities, where we developed several projects. What are the 3 pillars of our activity? Of course, research, of course, teaching, but a lot of effort is done in outreach activities, because we believe that there is a big challenge in capacity building towards giving the opportunity of the city halls to take advantage of this new reality. And now I will give you just some few examples of what we have been doing in these three pillars of our activity. Concerning outreach, every year, and this is the fourth year that we do that, we organize, in a partnership with the Portuguese National Association of Municipalities, Portugal Smart Cities Tour. So we go to the different regions of Portugal, and we organize with the municipalities workshops, thematic workshops, where we try to present what the academic world is producing, what the industry is delivering, and what are the best practices from the field. On the teaching, we have a post-graduation program on smart cities, and more recently, since this is maybe that's something that is changing, because one of the problems of our post-graduation program is that it was taught in Lisbon, and people, they don't want to come to Lisbon to attend the course. So we designed an alternative program, an executive training that goes to the field, and we organize it locally with the municipalities or the intermunicipal communities. But nowadays, with the situation that we live, probably there is no question now that we can give the courses fully online, and that is not a constraint. Nevertheless, this is a path that we have been going. And more important to this session today, to NOVA Science Day, is what we have been doing in the field of research. We started by, in close collaboration with municipalities, to look at the data and what are today the problems that city face. And one of the first that we looked at was in Lisbon, the question of the micro-mobility, and the challenge that it is, how can we have in the same space these conflicting or competitive uses of public space. And we try to analyze what is the use of the system, and we were amazed with the number, the growing of bicycle users in the city, and how this can be used to support the planning of the city spaces. Also in this context, looking at another example that was already referred here, how can we look at the green infrastructures of the city and try to learn what is the contribution that they are giving for carbon storage, for the value that can have, and how we can, in fact, use this as a simulator to induce public policy making that can support the growing spaces being affected to green infrastructure. But then we were more ambitious. We wanted not only to describe reality, to describe what is happening, but also to try to use our data science skills to try to predict what can happen in the city. And this was a project that we carried out together with the Lisbon City Hall and also some other partners, that we tried to optimize the response time of the fire department. And the idea was, okay, I know from historical data what was what happened over time in terms of weather, occurrences, social demographics, and we analyzed that data. And this is the first type of analytics. We use descriptive analytics to understand what happened. In the second moment, and bringing to the equation also the data from the mobile operators, in this case Altice, we try to understand and to build an algorithm that could predict, given the historical data and forecast that we have for tomorrow in terms of weather, of traffic, try to predict where there is going to be problems with a high probability, and what was the population that is going to be affected. And this was the predictive analytics. And if I am able to describe what happened and predict what can happen, I'm able to support what we call prescriptive analytics. I can use this information to take action so that the future is not the prediction, but in fact what I want to happen. And this is what we have done, taking advantage of the data regarding the road infrastructure of the city, information regarding any roadblocks that is going to happen in the city, and the traffic forecast and weather forecast for the next day. And so this is a visualization of what we have done. We have the position of the different fire squads. We have in red the lines are the traffic blocks that we know that are going to happen tomorrow due to roadworks and things like that. And then the model is fed also with traffic information forecast for the next day. And with taking all of this, we were able to create a model, a simulation model, that presents the areas where the fire department is going to be able to arrive in 5 minutes, in green, and the areas where the fire department is going to arrive in between 5 and 10 minutes. And so you can see that there in the brown area there is a red dot. And so the idea is that using this information, the fire department can place a rapid response vehicle near that point to guarantee that the answer will be in 5 minutes. And this was a practical example that Lisbon has a huge city intelligence platform, and the idea now that is used for operational purposes to solve what is happening in real time, and the idea now is to put this model on top of that operational system so that they can take advantage of this tool to improve the decisions in this predictive way. I will just now refer more to 3 projects that we have. This is a project funded by the European Commission called Urban CoCreation Data Lab. And in this project, together also, once again, with Lisbon, we are the Universidade Nova de Lisboa, and with the NEC, which is the company that developed the Lisbon platform, AMA, and the Supercomputation Center of Barcelona, we have been trying to use this approach to solve 5 challenges. 5 city challenge. The data that we are using is from Lisbon, but this is an European project, so then the tests will be replicated in other cities. And we have been looking to micromobility, to waste management, to illegal parking, to the spread of pollution in the case of an accident, to crowd management. And each one of these challenges has been addressed, and it's a coincidence, but in fact today started in Lisbon the 2020 edition of Portugal Smart City Summit, and we have there a booth, and we at 3 o'clock we are starting the first of the 5 brainstorm sessions online, where we are going to share what we have been doing in this. Today at 3 we have micromobility, tomorrow we have more 2, and in Thursday we have another 2, where we are going to share to the world and try to get feedback of the work that we have been doing. More recently, this year, we were awarded with the 2 flagship projects, one from MIT Portugal. This one is climate-driven technologies for low-carbon cities, so trying to support the transition of the cities and to decarbonize our urban spaces. And we have this MIT Portugal project. It is led by NOS with the technical university, CEA, and Lisboa Nova. And we are responsible for building the data intelligence platform and also to deliver advanced analytical skills to the different partners in very specific tasks. Another one that we have going is one called B2Waste Crypto. So what is the idea of this project, which is also a flagship project from Carnegie Mellon, Portugal? It's led by Compta. They have this solution that supports urban smart waste management. And one of the challenges that we face is that we have to engage the citizen in this process. People must separate more garbage, and they should do this in such a way that that is sustainable over time. And one of the problems that we have still today is that there is no positive discrimination when we change our behaviors to be more sustainable and more eco-friendly. And so the idea was to look at blockchain and cryptocurrency to try to develop a model where we can in fact reward citizens by their behavior when it comes to handling the garbage and contribute to solve this problem that we have today in cities. This was a project that started in July, and in July the FCT has launched a call for some summer schools. And now, at this moment, we have a group of 12 young people that they have a scholarship from FCT, a 3-month scholarship. They are students from master's and PhD programs, and they are thinking on how can we use blockchain and cryptocurrency for this specific purpose. And it's really interesting because they are really motivated with the ambition and with this idea that we can use technology and data science to build a better world. And that was the message that I brought you here. Thank you very much for your time.